Hello Beanies and welcome back to Beanies in a Pod. I'm Phil.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Daniel.
There we go. We're back after a short break. And we're also joined today by a very special guest. I've taken this from your LinkedIn.
Oh God.
She helps accountants and bookkeepers get better results from their marketing. And she's also the host of Accountants Are Sexy.
That's true. Thank you very much.
It's Captain Kelly.
Aye, aye. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Did you come
How
by
are
boat
you?
today?
Pardon?
Did you come by boat today?
Obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's the weather for it, so I figured it would. Yeah. I'm very well, thank you very much. Yeah, it's good.
Good. So we normally start by just having a bit of like an origin story
Right.
of how you got to where we are today.
How I got to captain my ship.
Exactly.
An origin story. So when I was 2.
Maybe come forward a year or two.
No, I think it just... I've been in marketing or sales and marketing my entire life. So...
Never mind.
I know, right? Well, actually, that's a slight lie. I started off in customer service, and I recognised that sales is customer service, but you get paid better.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I progressed. But having this background in sales and marketing, don't judge me. I'm this old. I remember the times when computers were connected, like just DOS programs, and they're on circular networks.
Oh, yeah.
So you could only talk to the people that were connected to that computer.
Yeah.
So I've been around the block a bit. And obviously I've seen communication change and social media come in, the internet happen, mobile phones, all of that jazz. I've literally seen it all. And when the social media wave started, I just thought, that's where I want to be, because communication changed. So that's why I started a social media company to begin with. How we got into accountants, I've never not had an accountant on my books, from the day that I started.
So it wasn't a deliberate strategy then?
Well, not
To start
really.
with.
I had accountants who I've always enjoyed working with, and I had law firms and a few others here and there.
I noticed you didn't say who I've always enjoyed working with. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, no comment on that one.
But they were the two that I kind of had, these professional services. And accountants are so much better to work with because they're owner managed, they make decisions faster, even if they don't think they do, they do. And they're leading the way on community, the tech front. Like, there's so many ways that accountants are leading the way. I wanted to be a part of that new wave.
And how long ago was that when that all started?
So I decided to niche down into accountants about 3, maybe 4 years ago. But I actually only rebranded.
Oh, right. Like almost in COVID then?
Yeah.
Just before?
Yeah, just before COVID.
Wow.
And then it wasn't until last year that I decided to rebrand as Accounting Pirates. And that was because I just wanted to do things differently. I was fed up of looking at everyone doing the same kind of thing, marketing it in the same way. I was like, this doesn't feel like me. So I rebranded as Accounting Pirates.
Accountants are sexy.
Yeah, they are.
Is that just a marketing gimmick? Come on, tell us where that came from. Tell me the origin story of that.
Well,
how much do you drink every day?
there's 2 ways of looking at this.
I'm thinking of a few more, but let's start with 2.
So there's the impact that they have on the world is phenomenal. At heart, I'm a bit of a socialist. Okay, I want everybody.
Get out.
I want everybody to have everything. I want to share everything. I want everyone to be happy, and I want to live in this utopian world where everything works. I understand that, the world doesn't operate like that. So we have to find our place in it, right? So accountants are in the best place to help our small businesses grow. And if we can grow our small businesses, we're going to distribute wealth. And we're going to distribute independence, and we're going to create a better life for more people. So what better way to help than helping the accountants that can help this happen?
That's scarily close to why we specialise in accounts, because for us it's about making work better for people, profit and planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Same
Exactly. So there is a social element, there is a fundamental kind of principle towards everything that we do. We want equality, we want fairness, we want truth, we want that. you know.
Yeah.
So that's what we aim for.
Yeah, when you're getting your clients in, is it usually the first time they've kind of starting their marketing journey, or is it a lot of people already doing it but they're looking for some guidance, some advice?
Yeah, so there's a mixture. I think what typically happens with accountants is their organic growth is brilliant. So if they can get a nice couple of clients in first, who are good referrers, who are active, you know, and they provide a good service, let's also get that in there as well, then the word of mouth seems to work so well that the beginning of their journey is almost taken care of.
And word of mouth is still so important. It doesn't matter what business or industry you're in, actually, word of mouth is still probably the number one thing, isn't it? Because it's a trusted voice in the first instance, so it's credible.
But not to rely on it as a strategy for scaling.
No.
So word of mouth as part of a marketing strategy is brilliant, assuming that you are clear enough on your brand that people know who to refer. Yeah. So if you've got a good message and people understand why they should buy from you or why they should refer, then you're going to get better clients. What shouldn't happen, or what I do see happening that is negative, are clients coming on board from all different industries, all different service types, all like just needing so much different variation, and then that causes problem within the practice because they're constantly having to do things differently.
Yeah. With that being said, what's say 3 things that maybe people should focus on at the start of their journey going forward?
I think confidence is a big thing in this industry.
We had that with our previous guest. He said he would like to do more of it, but just the confidence of kind of where to start and what do I kind of go with.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame when I see amazing accountants and bookkeepers not valuing their time, not valuing their service, over-delivering. I mean, this happens throughout so many different industries. But I kind of had accountants and bookkeepers on a pedestal because they're so clever and they do stuff I can't do. But then you get into it and you're like, no, you're better than this. So get the fundamentals in place, charge correctly, value your time, get your service structures in place, and then you'll grow faster or more controlled.
And then I guess on the other side of that, what sort of mistakes do you see them commonly make?
Not pinpointing their clients who they want to work with, being too scared of even just writing posts that are directed to one person.
Yeah.
Like if you say, write this LinkedIn post and write it towards a mechanic, and they're like, oh my god, no, but what if, right? What if a recruitment consultant saw it and then they wouldn't want to buy from me and they wouldn't read it.
It's not aimed at them, right? So they're not gonna pay attention to it.
This is the discussion I always have is what's wrong with that? Because if you're not interested in selling to recruitment firms, then why would you care about them not thinking I can do business with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because turning down business is probably the hardest thing to do when you're a small business.
Turning down business is a nice problem to have, though, right?
Yeah. It can be, but it can also be the worst. You can taste bile for weeks sometimes. Should I have done that?
I don't get that. I'm like, no, I don't want to work with you.
Lucky you.
So are they people quite open? Because I guess I've seen some of the people that you've worked with before. Yeah. They've come on board with you, and then after, and I'm like, wow, they're really a lot more confident, a lot more out there, and it looked like a big shift in terms of maybe what they thought was appropriate.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a hippy dippy, so I work with energy. So what I try and do is make them feel comfortable in their own skin. So anybody could teach marketing strategy. Anyone that's done all of this, any experience in marketing, read the books, done the courses, they can teach marketing strategy. Where I really excel, I guess, is helping them connect with themselves and their message. So that's where we start, really. It's a shift in energy. It's not a shift in content.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Really, isn't it?
Because they have to find their own voice, don't they? That's the thing. It's like you said, it's got to be authentic. So there's no point trying to put on an act to be something. You've got to help them find their own sound and their own message.
And get creative and realise that marketing is playing. We can make
communicating.
Yeah, we can communicate, play, try things, and don't think that if you do something, the whole world's looking, because they're not. Because if they were, that would be amazing.
True. Your message would get out to everyone.
Yeah.
I think
marketing would be so easy, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Every dream.
Yeah, I think that that is a key point. Like, I think people sometimes think that like the worst thing in the world is going to happen if you put a post out, and it's really not. Like, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? Someone's not going to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, great, fine. But if one person looks at it that you're trying to target, that's a win.
Precisely.
So
I think the best things about posts, and this is just the social media side of marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing is bigger, but the best thing about social media and marketing is if the post flops, nobody's seen it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And you've learned something.
Yeah.
That post was rubbish.
Or
Don't do it again.
kind of. There is another element to that, and this is something I talk about with my clients. You could put the same post out, word for word, as somebody else. Word for word, it could be the same, and that the other person's post would be taken differently.
Yeah.
Like, because they've got a different audience, they've got different credibility within that space. They've got more people, less people, more engaged people. It hits like they're posted at a different time of day. There are so many different variables.
Yeah.
So don't stress if your post flops. Try it again another day and see if it works.
TikTok's massive for some of the people, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm 40. How old am I? 43. And I'm still getting my head around it.
Yeah, it's a bit, even to me, it's a bit of a myth sometimes. I think, what on earth is all this?
Well, it is weird. And I'm not an editor, as you guys well know. Like, my podcast is 30 minutes long, and if I have to edit it, I'm freaking out. So no, TikTok is not my main platform. I love seeing what goes on there, and once again, some people are making it work. Some people are building very strong personal brands on there. I'm not yet. I don't yet know. I don't yet have the evidence to say that there is a lot of business coming from it.
I think it's more about attracting staff on
Maybe.
TikTok. I think it's more that because that's where the next generation is active, and I think there are firms that have been very successfully then attracting new staff to go and join the firm.
I think you could be. You could be right.
It's supposed to show your fun side, isn't it? For quite a lot of firms I see, they're You did a TikTok your first one at Accountex, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not my first verse. My first one I did, and my daughter was like, "Take that down."
Oh no!
Wow. I hope you said no. I won't.
No, I was just like, okay.
Oh, fair enough then.
Interesting. Huh? Do you see a big kind of divide between some of the people that are coming to you and their willingness to get themselves out there? So are you having the younger people be a lot more, I'm really looking to put myself out there, and the older ones a bit more sceptical? Or
what are you saying about the older generation? Old dogs, new tricks, is it?
Those that grew up without mobile phones. Am I seeing a divide? I see a divide, and this is super generalist. I see a divide between male and female.
really?
Yeah. So there are two programs. I've got Rock the Boat, which is a one-to-one type of program, and I've got Captain's Collective, which is a group program. Females drift to the Captain's Collective because it's softer, I think. And the men drift towards the Rock the Boat program because they like to keep everything in their box until they're ready to display it, right? So I see a divide in that sense. But with regards generationally, I don't suppose I've had that many younger clients. So yeah, that is interesting.
So they're more willing to kind of experiment, try it out, do it for themselves, you think? Or they haven't got to that stage in their career yet, they need the help?
I don't know. I think there is when bookkeepers, once again, this is a massive generalisation, so please, if you started with a different intention, it's not. But a lot of bookkeepers and accountants come up because they want to work from home flexibly with their children. There is a swathe of more females coming through the ranks. I find that, once again, generalisation, but men sit in a more traditional office environment more frequently. The younger ones, I don't see it. I don't see them starting their businesses so much. There's obviously the amazing Rachel Harris, who's just embraced everything to do with social media, and I think she's leading the way on that charge. So I don't know where the other ones are hanging out.
Interesting.
But I also spend a lot of time on my favourite platform, which is LinkedIn. So whether I'm just not seeing them, I don't know.
Do you think maybe it's just that the younger accountants aren't at the stage that they're starting their own businesses?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what I mean. So maybe they're still learning their craft.
Yeah.
You know, they're not ready to start yet because they are employed. I don't know.
Could also be that they're more naturally inclined on social media anyway,
Yeah,
so they probably
precisely.
don't think they have to go through training because they've been brought up with it.
Yeah.
They grew up with it.
Yeah, it's yeah, it doesn't suit everybody, does it? Social media, and like if you either embrace it and run with it, or you need to find alternative strategies. So I'm sure there'll be younger people coming up through the ranks who are not going to embrace social because they don't want to hang out on it. And also, we've got to be quite conscious of the amount of time we spend on social these days as well.
Yeah, God. Yeah.
Like that's a thing for younger people. They're monitoring their output. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see where the world takes us, I think, on that one.
What do you think about reviews? Because we had an interesting chat with Andrew, our last guest, and he was talking about kind of the blackmarification of reviews of accountants on Google and stuff, you know. People start to leave reviews and it starts to affect your rating and the knock-on effect of that.
There is, like, if you're going to do one thing, get your customers to say nice things about you.
Yeah.
Like, just do it. Ask. Literally ask them. It doesn't matter where the social proof, or it does matter where the social proof goes. It has to go on a place where other people are going to see it. So if your strategy is social media, having... Oh, I did it.
That's where it happens.
If your strategy is social media and you're collecting Google reviews, unless you're showing those Google reviews on social media, they mean nothing. If you're collecting LinkedIn reviews and you're not sharing the quotes, you know, breaking it down into pieces of content, or social media posts, like, you have to put it in front of people. It can't just like build it and they will come. It doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
All that somebody wants to see. If you think about Amazon, or think about how we buy today, I'll go through the whole analogy. You go to buy a telly back in our day.
Radio rentals.
Yeah, exactly.
Walk into town.
Rumbelows, curries.
Walk into town.
Yeah, walk into
Walk the
town.
6 miles into town. Tie up the horse.
Make sure it's nice and fed and watered. No, you'd probably drive. Come on.
No.
Not when I was living in Surrey. I couldn't afford a car back then. But you'd go to the shop, wouldn't you, and choose your TV that day. You'd get sold to, you'd see the special offers, you'd be in that environment. You'd already chosen kind of what type of TV you want. All you need to do now is find it, and you'd walk out with it that day and go home with it. Today, we don't typically do that. We're like, we want a TV.
So this afternoon.
Either this afternoon, or you're like, well, what are Samsung up to? You know, what is this person up to? What's that? Should we just pop in and just have a look? Should we do this? And you do a load of research. So you do all this research before you've ever even given anyone the opportunity to sell to you. So when you get to that kind of level, you've gone onto Amazon at that point, or another online shop, and then what you do is you look at the social proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rating.
Yeah, you've done all of it, and you just want to make sure. Just want to make sure that I'm not buying something that's really rubbish. So you go and have a look at what other people like you have had to say. That's how important social proof is. It reaffirms your position and it makes people say, I'm safe.
So social media, website, SEO, what other channels do you use? What about, well, for example, podcast, webinar, YouTube?
Yeah, they're all horses for courses at that point, isn't it? You know, like, once again, if you want to invest your time doing it, just make sure you do it.
And put it out there so that it's social proof again. It demonstrates to people who are looking.
Yeah, I think I'm on my podcast came before my rebrand, so it's actually older than Accounting Pirates. Okay. We're up to 70 something episodes now, and I've just when people talk about consistency, they think that consistency means every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. It doesn't. Like, it means that you forget 1 week and then you get back on it and keep going and keep going and keep going. Yeah. So the consistency for that has really helped reaffirm my place in the community. It's offered value to my audience. It's helped me make connections that I wouldn't necessarily have had. I've got insights into businesses that I wouldn't have been exposed to. You know, so there is a lot of goodness that comes from having something like a podcast, but not if you only do 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So whatever it is you do, if you want to do webinars, if you want to do podcasts, if you want to be an author, for, you know, co-author in like magazines or publications, do it. Just do it consistently.
Do you find any? Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, I think with podcasts especially, a lot of people seem to think that you start doing a podcast and then immediately you have like 100, 200, 300, like 400 people viewing it straight away.
Yeah.
And like the moment that doesn't happen, they're like, no, that's it.
Oh, that doesn't
It's gone.
work.
Absolutely no. Yeah, podcast rubbish. Not a chance.
Yeah.
It-
So I think I'm the only person in our space who publishes their downloads. Like, I tell people, I celebrate every single download I have. I don't, like, I'm never going to take over the world with an accounting podcast. Like, it's not going to happen.
Be surprised.
It's like Pinky in the Brain.
You said
Wah.
yourself at the start of this, accountants change the world.
Yeah,
So why not?
but caveat that, like, my world, you have to define your world, right? I guess. But I'm not expecting to be the next Joe Rogan with an accounting podcast called Accountants Are Sexy. It's got limited appeal.
So is
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
This is
Some
true.
would argue.
I've never actually listened to an episode of what he does, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, like, just be consistent with it. Just do your best.
You were going to say
Consistency is
something
key.
before
Consistency is always key.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
You can't remember, can you?
No, I'm
No.
old, dear. I'm a bit too old
It
now.
was really important.
Yeah.
Probably was as well.
Oh,
Here's
no.
me slippers. Give me another.
Incredible.
I bring out the best in people.
Clearly.
What about events? Actually, like DAS, I know we've met at Accountex, stuff like that.
How did you find us?
Wow. That opening show, I mean, says it all, doesn't it?
I wasn't
The
there.
opening- Oh, you
I was
missed it.
running
Oh,
late.
wow.
Like,
Oh.
That was pretty good actually. That opening
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
It was like a
It was
rave.
like a festival,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
I did walk in expecting like Paul Oakenfold to be on the decks or something. Like,
And that's not a criticism of, no,
What?
of who was on the decks.
Don't just leave
Oh, no.
Jordan and his.
You keep-
And I'm just
the
clarifying
accounting
for the
house
purposes.
mafia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just clarifying for the viewers. It's not a criticism of the.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mix actually, so I've offered to come down and be, you know, and do a drum bass set for them if they want. Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
I love a good bit of drum and bass.
Yeah. Like bring out all my old jungle drum bass. Could do that.
It's got to be done, surely. That's next year.
Obviously, I'm also Billy. What's it called? So that will never happen. I can talk a good game, but underneath I'm like, oh no. I'll save it for my kitchen.
Do you think because obviously we're talking about like podcasts, events, and all this stuff, but like the social media normally goes hand in hand with it anyway, doesn't it? Because you can go to all the events, but if you've had no social media presence in the first place, like I feel like you don't get as much out of it. And the same with podcasts, right? You could be consistent,
Yeah.
but consistently putting up episodes and then not advertising them and like keeping up with the social media,
Yeah.
it's just going to drop off anyway as well,
Yeah.
isn't it? So
This is the whole build it and they will come ethos. You
Yeah.
know, that simply doesn't happen. You have to go and make it work. You have to build your connections. So if you like just we look at it from a different perspective, you have your brand, okay? Personal or business. Personal's far easier and better. But you can do both. But you have your brand, you had your ad strategy, and you have your organic content as well. And those three work in unison. So if you just do one, it will either take you a lot more time or a lot more money.
Do you get them to break down their year or whatever into seasons and approach it that way, or is it just a continuous thing?
Yeah, so the program that I've developed, which I'm really proud of, We
Tell
look
the folks. Tell the
Tell the
folks.
folks.
Share.
but it does it all.
Okay.
We look at strategy once a year, because if you're not refreshing your strategy once a year and just saying, are we really focused on the right things? Are we aiming for the right goals? Where's our North Star? You know, like, what are we aiming for? If you're not doing that, then you just get muddy.
Yeah.
So strategy once a year, planning your marketing quarterly, because if you plan it for a year, you'll never do it. Okay? And if you never plan it, you'll also never do it. So we do marketing planning once a quarter. Then we do tracking every single month, because if you don't know what's working, then what's the point? And then we look at weekly as well, which is where we kind of give them a boost and a kick up the bum, and, you know, like, tell them to actually take the time to do the implementation. So all of that together creates a really nice system, and that's what I'm aiming for. It's about the flow of it. It's about I can't think of the word. I'm trying to the heartbeat, the consistency of it. You know, that's what we're trying to create.
Okay. Do they ever sort of target things around things happening in the year? Like, there's obviously you have the tax year end, you have the budget. And
Boring.
Do you ever do that?
I try not to.
I think that surely that is partly down to when you have the every quarter, etc., or monthly.
So look what's coming up.
It's about being dynamic, right? Because you're putting out advertisements on platform. Advertisements. Advertisements on a platform or platforms that are dynamic anyway by nature. So your strategy also has to be fairly dynamic itself.
Your strategy needs to fit your clients.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to fit the accounting space. It needs to fit what your clients are up to. So if what are they worried about? I'm trying to think of the kind of, let's think of gas engineers. Okay. So gas engineers are busy, very, very busy during the winter periods, and they are still busy, but less so during the summer. So we know this because that's the way that their business goes, because pipes breaks and yada, yada, yada. So if you are trying to get them to do their paperwork when they are at their busiest time, earning the most money that they can possibly earn, putting food on the family's table, right, they are not going to respond to you. But if you could capture them at a different time when they are at a different point in their business and say, look, this is coming up. We know that you're going to be busy. We want you to have the most profitable season for your own business, so let's get this done in June. That would be much better for them. So it's not about the accounting space, it's about the customer space. So I don't do tax tips Tuesdays. Do it, fine, but I get people to look at things differently.
I still see a lot of that. I know I'll get a round of emails and in LinkedIn connection requests around the time when the R&D credit is coming up for due, and I get the same thing when other sort of things start to...
If it's relevant to you, it's really useful.
It's not.
But you're also connected with the accounting space for a slightly different reason as well.
Yes.
If you had the right accountant, which would now get probably lost in a sea of other accountants because you're connected with so many, but if you had the right accountant in your network feeding you the right information, you'd be like, you know your stuff. And more importantly, you know me.
Google feud. I'm just generalising it now.
Interesting.
So
you did a what for that, don't you?
Yeah. So I'll recap the rules. Basically,
As in, tell me them for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. I have typed in the start of a sentence into Google.
Okay.
So, how do you ... and then Google auto fills in like some suggestions. So I want you three to guess what the suggestions are.
Okay.
This went
could
well
go
last
very wrong.
Is grooming any of the answers?
No, it's... Well, actually, hold on. Let me just check quickly. If,
Location based, that one.
No, we're good. We're good.
Good.
Right. Okay, so...
And this is from your browser.
Yes. So...
Wow.
How can accountants... ... We'll start with you, Kelly, as you're the guest.
How can accountants find more clients?
Wow. Get more business.
That's not on here.
But that's
There-
a
there's-
very
there are
telling-
That's what they should be asking.
There are things in and around that, but not specifically that.
Okay. So what's
What
the
do you
top-
think?
Oh.
Well, I'll ask
So-
each of you. So, Daniel, how can accountants ...
Didn't we have this one on the last one?
We did, but these answers are very different.
Oh.
Probably because of some of the guests we've had on, the things that I've been Googling in the
So
background.
you think you're influencing the algorithm now?
Well, it is based off of... It
Yeah,
is based
your
off of
search
my...
history.
Oh.
Okay. So how can accountants...
Just thought you actually might be able to see my screen from there.
Are you cheating, Daniel?
No.
If
I
he
wouldn't do
gets
that.
the top one right
No,
now, we
yeah.
know it's
Trust me.
It's
When
rigged.
he's got a Google search, and the last thing I want to be doing is
Okay,
looking at
right. No.
Right. How
No,
can
no,
accountants...
definitely not. Right, go on.
How can accountants charge more for their services?
I'll give you make more money. It's
No,
kind of...
That's not that was my guess.
Oh, of course it
Oh
was.
yeah, that's very convenient.
That was.
Well, here you go, Aaron. You've still got pretty much the whole board to play with here. So how can accountants ... Oh, I should have given you a little...
Thank you. Money.
I've actually given you a massive clue there. That this has been because of one of the guests we've had on.
Oh, unfair advantage.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'll give you another go after this if he doesn't get it. Are
Sometimes you play at home, sometimes you play away. That's the
How
rules,
can
game.
accountants?
you struggling to remember the guest we've had on?
Yeah, I am.
Use AI? Ooh. Ching.
Use AI.
That's the
Thank you.
second. That's the second one. Do you want another go, Kelly, at this one?
Well, if it's on the same wavelength, then they'll definitely be using the keyword chat GPT.
That is the top one. How can
Oh,
accountants
look
use
at
ChatGPT?
So that was a warm-up round.
So we had use ChatGPT, use AI, contribute to sustainability, make more money, make extra money, help the community, steal money, assist a business, work from home, use Python. Not sure about that one, but I don't know why they'd be looking up that.
Yeah.
But
That's a language for automation.
No, I know,
programming.
but-
So I suppose so.
there we go.
They really shouldn't have to be worrying about that. If they're
That's what I
worrying
was
about
thinking,
using
yeah.
Python,
How
then
do
they're
I
doing
use Python
accountancy
to
wrong. Yeah. Hello.
really enhance my
Yeah,
Excel?
because they should just be getting in touch with us, surely.
What?
I mean-
100%.
A shameless
Crazy.
plug. A shameless plug. Right. I'll start with you this time, Daniel. How can social media ... So this is very open, this one. Well, because it's not accountancy based.
Okay.
That's so
So this is social media in general. So
Be used to influence the outcome of political... No, sorry, I'll stop there. It's been done already.
I
I know, I
understand
was
why
going
you'd
along
say
with
it.
the socialism angle there. So, how can social media be used to market my business?
if I'm being nice, I could probably give you
Well-
help a business grow, but that's
Well,
like
that's reaching.
we'll do it. Otherwise, we're never going to get any right
No.
answers. So how can social media ... Aaron?
I was gonna say, get me more customers.
That's kind of similar to help business.
It is really.
What I'd say,
Well-
what I'd say is you want to think of a more in general. Like we're talking about social media in general, not just in
Oh.
like the marketing space.
Is that your final answer?
So is that your final answer? Bearing in mind what I've just said, basically telling you not to say that answer.
Oh, this could be anything though.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I said at the
That's-
start.
That's
Are
too-
you familiar with this game?
No, I understand, but it's so broad.
Well, just think
What
in
about
general.
you? What would
Yeah,
you...
but think about if you were going to search how can social media, what would you put after that? Oh, what?
Be used to recruit staff?
Again, I think you're thinking too business
Yeah,
focused.
I can't think how to phrase it, but people don't want to spend a lot of time on social media. So is there
like
something?
reduce screen time
Yeah.
or something. Not really.
No.
But there are things
Let's
in and
just start
around
with
that.
There's gonna be
How?
ones
Yeah.
like make me more friends.
Make me more
Or
friends.
something like that. Get
That's
me
what
more
you were going.
friends.
So we said, what would you search for? And that's what you come up with.
No, that's not. I'm up. No.
That's quite sad, actually.
Can I have some French?
Right, does anyone else want another go at this before I give you some answers?
How can social media...
Be stopped.
It's not on it.
Damn it.
Although,
this is hard, isn't it? My brain goes empty.
What would an accountant say?
No.
it's
general.
No, I'm just.
How? Hold on. What is it? How can social media?
How can social media ...
How can social media be so goddamn exciting?
I'm gonna think that's not on there.
Yeah, I can't even give you one reaching there, I don't think.
Okay. What? Give us some of what was said.
So we've had affect mental health is the top one.
That's where I was leading
Yeah.
the first one.
Help a business grow, be dangerous, affect job opportunities, cause depression, be addictive,
Yeah.
help students in their studies, help a business,
Yeah.
affect body image, and be positive. There's
It's
what
a
we
lot of
have.
negative
Yeah.
stuff
See,
on there.
But that generally, I think, when people search things, it's more negative than
Yeah.
positive.
Yeah. It's problem solving, isn't it? So like there is a lot, and when you look at the wider community and people who don't just use it for business, who thrive with social media, actually there are quite a few negative connotations around it.
Also, if you think about it, if you were going to search something, if you really like social media, you're not going to search, why
it
do
so
I like
wonderful?
social media so much? Because you know the answer to that,
Why
right?
is it amazing?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
But if you were like, oh, it's really bumming me out, like, oh, why is it affecting my mental health,
Yeah.
etc. Like, you might Google that, right?
Yeah, reducing the screen time, reducing people's use is a big topic.
I'm surprised that wasn't in there actually, the screen time bit.
But I didn't know how to phrase it. That's I couldn't get to it.
Yeah.
you should ask Google.
Okay, this
Should
is.
have asked ChatGPT, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you should have. So this is we're going back more towards accountancy here. So Kelly, you can go first on this one. Oh wait, no, it's Aaron's go first actually. No, it's your go first actually. I've
Actually,
missed Aaron
before
out.
you do,
Who knows the rules?
no one. There are no rules. That's a bit like Fight Club.
Aaron, accountants are ...
Sexy.
Careful.
70 episodes. 70.
Well, that's why I put this one in here.
I was gonna say accountants are. I wanted.
Calm down.
I know what he's going to say.
What am
He's
I
going to go
say?
with the stereotype, aren't you? Or are you not?
No. I was gonna go the other way as well. I was gonna start negative, and I thought no, let's go the opposite
Well, go
way.
on then.
Yeah, go on.
Accountants are helpful in growing my business.
Accountants are the best kissers. No.
Who was that for?
Both.
There's studies done.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
By accountants.
Right, I mean, who
Kelly
won?
won. I think
I think
Kelly
Kelly must have won that one.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head,
Obviously.
yeah. I think Aaron came dead last, actually. I don't think you got a single question right. mate.
Terrible. Terrible.
That was Google Feud.
Hold on. So what we're saying is we played the entire game, but we didn't keep a score.
No, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you won.
Somehow the guest always wins.
That's great.
That is
Love
weird,
it.
isn't it? But,
I
you know,
love this game.
clearly
We're
our
just
guests are
rubbish.
just better at the games than you guys are.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Of course, as is tradition. Can I read you? I would like to present to you with your very own VIB tea.
Prizes. Love. I spilled coffee down myself this morning. This is amazing.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. It's meant to be.
Popping
Solving
the jump on
problems.
that one. So what's it time for now?
I think it's time for Snack Attack.
Hey.
That's so excited.
Didn't see this coming.
Did you?
Wow.
This is the first time we've ever done this on this podcast, surely. What do you mean? Anyway, as is tradition, the guest has come up with the Snack Attack for this episode. It's a good one, for sure.
I think so. Strong.
Strong.
Bold.
Do you want us to? Do you want to present us with the snack, Kelly?
Explain your snack and why.
But yeah,
you chose
explain yourself.
Young lady.
Now I feel like I've done something wrong. No, this is one of the crisps that I grew up eating. This is my go-to. I mean, granted, when I was first a young child, we only had salt and vinegar, and then this explosion happened of. Like,
Remember plain?
yeah. Do you remember Salt and Shake?
I do, yeah, and the little sachet that used to come in.
I
Just a
remember those,
Blue
yeah.
sachet, yeah.
What was that
it.
about?
Salt and
My-
shake.
You've got a
I
little
was-
packet of salt in there, and
Yeah.
you tip it in and then shake
Yeah.
the
Do
crisp.
it yourself.
Yeah.
but that was like the thing.
It gets worse because salt and vinegar and cheese and onion, they were quite new at the time when I was like in like mid-80s. They were quite new.
Witchcraft.
Yeah. And I was like, Mum, I really want salt and vinegar. So she gave me salt and shake and put vinegar on it.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
Like, it was disgusting.
It's because they go soggy. I've
Yeah.
tried this as well. They go very soggy and very, very strong. It's nice, but it doesn't work.
It does not work.
No, it doesn't. But do you know my other favourite one? Hedgehog flavour. Do you remember them?
No, I do not
What?
remember hedgehog flavour.
Sorry?
Yeah, they
That's-
had hedgehog
You're going to
flavour.
have to explain that.
What is hedgehog flavour?
It was hedgehog flavour crisps.
But what does that mean?
It was.
That's
sort of
like a
It's
What
surely-
is the
like,
flavour of a
It
hedgehog?
surely
No.
doesn't mean
It was-
these crisps are flavoured like hedgehogs, does it?
It was. I mean, the taste I remember was somewhere between beef and chicken,
That's so weird.
I don't like that you've said
and with
that.
a hint of sort of smoky bacon. You know, there was
That's
somewhere. Yeah, no, seriously.
no.
No, they're actually
No.
a genuine thing. Look it up.
Hedgehog flavour.
Look it up. And I think I don't know
That
for sure.
sounds like
Was it a
complete-
Walker's thing?
No, it wasn't. It might have come out the back of. There's a program called Alias Smith and Jones, or was it not 9 o'clock news?
Don't know.
One of those two. But you had Griff Rhys Jones and Mel Smith.
Okay.
Remember the two comedians?
Yeah.
I think it was Mel Smith that was one. But they did a sketch on one of their shows, which was they were truckers,
Okay.
and I forget there was a song and everything. I'm a trucker, and they grabbed a hedgehog and put it
Because
between
of
two pieces of
roadkill.
bread. Yeah. And I think it came out around the same time as that, but they were actually hedgehog flavoured crisps.
Wow.
So basically,
See? Told you.
they were a thing.
Okay.
The
Obviously
company name was Hedgehog Foods.
Right.
So they then had a brand name, Hedgehog Flavoured Crisps. That's actually what they were called as well.
Right.
But they were withdrawn in 1982.
Yeah.
But they,
Opposition from the Hedgehog Society.
well, it said something about the product was flavoured with pork fat, herbs, and contained no actual hedgehog.
Oh well, that's
There you
good.
go.
That's good. See, this is where that like few years difference makes
Yeah. Unfortunately, you missed out on the best
well,
ones.
obviously.
There were 5 very good years.
Before I go
Shut
into
up,
that,
Phil.
the one that I remember that nobody else remembers is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle apple pizza.
I do
What?
not remember that.
Yeah. So it was
Right.
an apple flavour, or not apple flavour, it had pieces of apple. It was a pizza with pieces of apple on it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Coming soon to a Domino's near you.
No one else remembers it. It's like I made it up in a dream.
I think you did.
Right, do you want me to show you what it is?
Yes,
then?
please.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Starving. Oh, that's great for the microphone.
Space
Yes,
Raiders.
anyone who's listening to this on the podcast on their headphones.
Sorry, Christian.
These are Space Raiders. So this is the snack that I grew up eating the most. I was torn between a quarter of gummy bears, which is my other favourite. But these are the ones that I thought I would bring in for you today. Would you like to try them?
Yes. I don't remember did they used to be called Space Invaders or something like that?
No, I think it always was
No, I don't
Space
think so.
Raiders.
And I bought 2 packets because I'm sure we're going to all like
the
them.
pickled onion. Reminds me of the Monster.
Yeah.
Monster Munch.
So I don't really like normal crisps, probably because I was put off by my mum putting vinegar on normal crisps.
And put off by the fact that they were flavoured like hedgehogs before.
So I like what my granddad used to call fake crisps. Like these are the mazy ones.
Yeah, that's giving me big Monster Munch. Monster
They're
Munch
quite, they're
energy.
quite similar, I think, Space Raiders and the Monster Munch ones.
These are the OG though.
Yeah, they are.
So is this something you'd have just as a treat or after
No, I
school,
still
or-
buy these. Yeah, no, these as I say, these are the crisps, and they used to be like 10p as well, like which is
Say 40p. God, that's inflation for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Still
And the
gas
other-
about that.
The other one I was going to bring in is scampi fries.
Oh,
All of
I do
these.
like those.
Yeah, all of
Scampi-
these I
scampi
still eat.
I do like a scampi fry.
Scampi what? Did
They're
you,
the ones
do you
that-
go to Waitrose as well?
Scampi what? You definitely get Scampi fries in Waitrose, though. I think I've seen them in there.
You and I'm going to assume here, but the first place that we would have eaten things like that would have been in the pub.
Pub.
Oh, that was the first
Yeah.
place I had them as well.
Yeah.
They're like the little,
Scampi
like
fries
little
down
pillows,
that
aren't
one.
they?
Yeah.
almost?
You
And
had
then you got the-
big D nuts, and then you
Yeah.
had the dry roasted, and then scampi fries.
But you also had the bacon ones next to
Yes, the bacon ones
yeah.
are very good as well.
Yeah. So my husband and I, we buy these all the time, and I'm the scampi fries and he's the bacon. So
Do you ever remember the elephant's toenails?
What planet are
you're
you
making,
living on?
You're making this stuff up now.
This is actually mental. We've had hedgehog flavoured crisps followed by elephant's toenails. We have to do a little fact check here again. Like,
Yeah,
what is going
please.
on here? So go on, carry on.
Explain
And
your
this
story.
is why we can't understand what's going on with your Google searches.
Why do accountants elephant's toenails? Oh, but...
These were
no.
no.
Oh no.
These are effectively pork scratches.
It's just showing me actual elephant toenails.
right.
So
Because
I
were-
do like a pork scratching.
They were called elephant's toenails.
Yeah, or I did like a pork scratching.
No, you don't.
No.
You've gone off them now.
Yeah, I
Fair
think I've
enough.
grown up a little bit.
Don't Google elephant toenails. It's horrible. It shows you elephant
I can imagine,
toenails.
yeah. Okay.
Did you not caveat that with crisps or anything
I
like
did,
that?
and it still gave me the toenails.
Oh well.
Okay.
Interesting.
Thank you again for joining us, Beanies. Don't, remember to give us a like if you're watching on YouTube, and also give us a follow and give us a little rating if you're listening to us on a podcast platform. Again, thank you to Kelly for joining us.
You're very
Hope you
welcome.
enjoy your VIB tea there.
Yeah.
Please don't spill any coffee on that.
Can't promise it.
Oh dear. Don't forget to join us on our community for bookkeepers and accountants. The link will be down below in the description. And thanks for joining us. Catch us in the next one.